Hello. Shayla's over there cooking pizza, so she'll be with us in a minute. Cauliflower pizza. Sort of carnivore meal, keto meal. Trying to watch the old carbs. Sugar is definitely not good for you, and certainly not frozen pizzas. So, a little bit healthier meal we've got somewhat planned. I ran to the store last minute for some cauliflower. Hopefully, you've already eaten because we're going to be eating on camera here in a minute. Got lots of things going on. We haven't put out any videos in a while, so we're going to try to get on top of that as soon as we can. But hope everything's going good with everybody else. Hello, John. Hope we see you at 10 Killer if we in fact make it there. I think we will. We've got a big fencing job that we're doing for somebody going on right now. So if the weather's good to be building fence, we may not make it to 10 Killer. But I think we're going to make it to 10 Killer. And also this time last year after 10 Killer, we went to Weber's Falls and we did some spoonbill snagging and stuff. So we may try to repeat that because we didn't have a lot of spoonbill success per se, but we did have a lot of just overall fishing success. So we may try to repeat that, and we also caught some flatheads at 10 Killer. So hello, Chris. We got Mama Teresa in here. Let's see who else we got. We got John said he will be there Saturday, so hopefully we'll be there and we'll get to chat. How's the sand bass and crappie fishing been going for you? I typically would always try to do some crappie fishing by this point in the year, but not only have we been really busy, but my dad passed away last year at this time, and it's typically we would go crappie fishing with him. Um, just don't know. We've caught some crappie on this part of this side of the state, but I just don't know all the places like I did in western Oklahoma or Fort Cobb Lake per se. It was just kind of automatic. If you went at the right time of the year, it was just automatic. You were going to catch a lot of crappie, and with as much time as we've got tied up right now, it's hard to dedicate a lot of time to go crappie fishing over here if we just don't have that automatic spot. We got Hippie Callier Homestead in here. John says he wishes the rain would chill out a little. Yeah, it's a fine line between too much rain, not enough rain. The rain can be really good. I've had a lot of good catfishing success after the rain. But if the rivers are just completely raging, you're probably not going to do too good because so much stuff's coming down the river and just tangling on your line. And you got to find an eddy. I think that's what they call it, an eddy, where the water turns back when you're fishing those river waters, where it's real slow. If you can find one of those when the river is just flooded, but finds you a real slow spot in the river, man, you can do some dang good catfishing in those. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch any videos lately, John, so I'll have to get caught up. I have a feeling we did really well after 10 Killer at Weber's on sand bass. I have a feeling it's probably going to repeat last year as the weather seems to be just about the same. Yeah, the floods are awesome for catfishing in my experience. You got my pizza coming, Shayla? I'm starving. She's over there scraping around in the pan, making me hungrier and hungrier. Got a channel cat in the flooded timber. So, what spring activities has everybody else busy? I know this is like the time of year that everybody comes out of hibernation and starts doing different things, whether it's picking back up on outdoor sports, fishing, turkey hunting, farming. What is it? What has got everybody busy this spring? Yeah, we're eating cauliflower pizza because Jim talked it up so much we had to make it. But mine's got a little bit of everything on this pizza.
Hey, John.
See if I can get a piece of it up here so you can see. I got some.
Really hot.
I put I put some lamb's quarter. See that? Looks kind of like spinach. I put some lamb's quarter on the pizza. We have a bunch growing up in our crowd where we had pigs. Seems like whenever you disturb the soil, taproot type plants really want to grow, and that lamb's quarter. I don't know if it's a taproot or what, but it seems like it grows right there with the other taproot plants. And there's a bunch of it in there. So I went ahead and grabbed some, put it on the pizza. I did a little short, but it's supposed to be really rich in vitamins A and C. Yeah, John, morel mushrooms, so far, we haven't found any except for the kids while we were working. They found some while we were shredding brush and clearing fence lines. And Levi found some at a T-ball game, but we haven't really went out and looked for them. So it's actually like kind of the most we've found. And we haven't even actually been looking. So if we've been looking, probably would have a few more. We're just going to save the ones that Ryland and Huxton found kind of dried out super fast. We didn't put them away proper while we were doing that job. So we're going to probably save them for spores. Try to plant some.
Somebody in Chandler's selling some again.
Yeah, I might just go buy some because they're that good. And, spend $40 on a couple pounds, 3 or 4 pounds of morels it's more than I'll ever find by myself. I can't eat this too much. I need a fork or something.
Levi, we get out a fork.
But if I spent $40 on morels, it's more than I'm going to find looking myself. And if I spend 10 hours looking for morels to find a half a pound, so
yeah, we gave in and bought the really bad DEET stuff. I had the more natural tick spray, but we had to get that DEET crap. We were getting covered in them out there on that job.
I will tell you this: I did the ones that Levi found. They were already kind of old, a little bit dry. So what I opted to do with those is I put some tallow in a saucepan on low heat and put those morels in that tallow and just simmered the morels in beef tallow for probably 30 minutes or so. And then after they were kind of rehydrated, we took those out and fried them up and ate them. But that beef tallow did take on a lot of that morel flavor. I've been trying to figure out how I can make the most out of the morels because the flavor is insanely good. Been trying to figure out how I can preserve that flavor throughout the year. And I think if I buy some,
probably if we just dehydrated them and turn them into
I
a
think
powder.
that was really good putting it in the tallow. I mean, tallow stores really well. So ticks. Whenever I think of bad, whenever I think of ticks being really bad, I think of like millions of ticks on you. We didn't have a whole. I mean, I probably didn't pick 3 or 4 ticks off me while we were out on a job in some really thick brush and stuff for like 3 days. So I didn't think they were too bad. How many?
You were in the skid steer 90% of that. We had a few dozen on us.
That's still not like thousands.
No, it wasn't a lot.
I mean, when you step in the grass,
We put in a lot of spray though.
when you step in the grass and you look down at your feet, and you can see a couple hundred ticks crawling up your feet, that's when you know the ticks are bad. I've seen that before.
We got a car.
Yeah, we need to go down and give
I don't
them.
even know where Otter and Wolverine are. Probably freaking got hit by a car or something.
Thought they were here earlier.
They were earlier, but I haven't seen them in a few hours. Dingo's here. The other two aren't. I called them. I thought I saw them running across the pasture, but it might have been the llamas. Oh, I don't like dogs.
Our best dog's down the road with the cows, and those people want to keep her.
You know.
John's gonna.
That would be good. Stuff them with cheese
John's
because they
gonna
already
try to
have
stuff them.
they already have a cheesy flavor, so that would be
I
good.
think they kind of taste like funky Parmesan.
Yeah. That would be yummy.
I would say I did put I put probably when I flavored that tallow with
Hey, Greg.
morels, I probably put about 2. How many tablespoons is in a stick of butter?
8.
I probably put about 16 tablespoons of tallow to about half a stick of butter, so 4 tablespoons of salted butter. And I blended that butter and tallow whenever I was trying to flavor the tallow with morels. But it came out very, like I said, kind of Parmesan-y. It was a good flavor. Made some popcorn with it. Flavored the popcorn really well. But if you're not used to tallow, it might be more of an acquired taste. But I love tallow. What are you spraying permethrin on, John? On yourself or on your boots and clothes? Are you hiding off the camera?
Why do I eat on camera?
Looks like you're trying to hide over there.
I am.
Back off the camera.
Clothing.
Tell you what, DEET definitely works better than those natural tick sprays. I ain't saying that.
DEET free.
I ain't saying the DEET free ones don't work.
They do, but in our circumstance where we usually, the DEET free, more sensitive, less harmful ones. They do work better when we're fishing or just, casually out in the woods. But when you're digging head first into the woods and pulling out barbed wire and trimming trees with the chainsaw and cutting and taking posts out and clips off posts, then it doesn't work so great. But I mean, it probably kept quite a few off, but we resorted to getting the DEET, but I only got the 15%.
I mean, it hardly looks like pizza, Chris, but it is cauliflower pizza.
Yeah, I liked it. I screwed up.
Why is it more like the cheesy crust you made?
I was supposed to cook the crust before we put on the toppings, but we just kind of put the toppings on. I forgot, so. But
it tastes like.
I like it. I'm not picky though.
It tastes like that Parmesan crust you made.
I like the Parmesan crust better.
It tastes just like it.
Pretty much, but that's because there's so much Parmesan in it. The other one is well, this has grated Parmesan in it. The other one has shredded Parmesan.
I put the ground. I kind of made like a. I can't ever follow a recipe, but I took our ground deer beef combination that we had made up from all the deer we shot this year. But I took it, looked up kind of an Italian seasoning recipe, and had about half of what it called for, and then kind of came up with the rest of it on my own, and seasoned that up, and then cooked that deer meat down in some bacon grease because I'm trying to get as much. Personally, I'm trying to get as much fat in me as possible because I'm going back on carnivore or ketogenic, and yeah, that hamburger meat turned out pretty dang good. Did you like the hamburger meat?
I don't think that the cheesy crust that I make has eggs in it, though.
Overall, did you like the hamburger meat or the beef that we like? The beef from the last two steers we butchered, or did you like the deer meat that we had processed? Which one did you like better?
I don't know.
Which one
I
tastes
haven't
better?
had that with the beef in a while.
We had it not that long ago.
I keep forgetting it's out there. All the deer's inside, so it's just easier to grab. The beef's out shop in the freezer, so I always forget that we have it out there.
I kind of think I like the deer meat better.
I think I like.
I mean, it's
beef
deer.
better.
It's deer/beef. But
it's super close, but I think I like the beef slightly better.
So what do we have going on around here? Lots of babies out there right now. We've got
our yard is super overgrown, so we have all the animals up here. Not super overgrown. It's starting to get to the point where we really need to mow.
The fescue's real tall, which the goats, I thought they would. We brought the goats up here, but I thought the goats would go after the fescue, but they're actually eating everything else.
They're eating the henbit and the yarrow.
The henbit is like the first thing they're going after.
Yeah, they really like the henbit. But we got all the pigs, the llamas, the two last year's calves.
The llamas are trimming the overhanging elm trees for us.
So
go back through and clip the empty branches after they leave them.
The pigs are almost all the pigs are up here. All the goats are up here. So it's pretty busy out there. All the chickens, they're all out running around. So it's slowly but surely getting mowed. But it's kind of stupid to mow it. I mean, it's just for aesthetics. They get free food.
I bought a 50-pound sack of wheat seed, and I had thrown it around the front yard and stuff. And I thought that none of it ever sprouted, but here lately
This year you did?
Yeah, I just threw it out by hand. I didn't disc or anything. But I thought none of it sprouted, but lately it's shooting up real fast, and the goats have been after it. Chickens have been eating it too.
Yeah. If they didn't poop so much, like the goat's poop's not too bad. The cow poop and the pig poop and the chicken.
This time of year, cow poop is big old. I mean, just those little heifers we got here. The cow patty's like 2 foot around, and it's slick because it's all green.
Yeah. If they wouldn't, they didn't have such nasty poop, and they can stay up in the yard all the time. We'd never mow. But saves us time, saves us gas money mowing, saves us wear and tear on the mower
It'd be easier to mow cow patties than it would be to mow grass. We just
when they're dry.
mow over the cow patties.
You don't want to mow that when it's wet.
But we got 3 baby coonies out there.
Yeah.
This
Bunch of
time,
baby rabbit. We got 6 baby rabbits. We got more on the way.
the coonies had wattles, and
Yeah,
it's the first time we've ever. I think that Burris has
she's-
ever thrown wattles. out of
she's
anyone.
had 2 litters with Burris. And
Yeah, this is her third. This is her third litter, and the first time that our coonies have had wattles. Burris doesn't have wattles, but she does.
And all 3 of them. So weird. They could, I think, I haven't done the calculations exactly to find out, but they could possibly be our IPPs. So I'm going to do some math, and then
I just don't
If
even
we
know
sell
that they've
them-
ever been with each other. I don't know
I know.
they've ever even been
I
around
know.
each other.
because it doesn't mean they can't do it through the fence. But I have to DNA test them anyway when I register them. So, oh, mom's dog had pups today. How funny. Oh my gosh. Are those going to be full-blood German Shepherds? So, if anyone watching is interested in a Kuni, they're all jet black. One has white on its hooves, and then
Actually,
the other one is
Before you
like
start
a brindle.
giving them away, I was kind of thinking about maybe we should get rid of Burris, our boar, and keep the one with the white feet.
With one
the
boar
boar.
and 2 gilts. Yeah, and then breed him back to his
But-
mama.
No, we could get rid of Charlotte too. She's only ever had 3 or 4 babies at a time.
Charlotte.
She's not having enough.
Usually sweet.
She's real sweet when she's hungry and feeding babies.
She's real sweet when she's pregnant. She's a turd head when she's not sometimes. I got some switchgrass for screening on our property a few weeks ago. For screening.
For screening. What do you mean for screening?
Switchgrass for screening.
But we actually had 2 of our gilts from, was it the last litter of pigs we had? It's been that long.
Last March.
It's been that long since we had any piglets.
Mhm.
We've actually got 2 gilts. They're really good little pasture pigs, but I had them sold, but when it came time to catch them, all of a sudden they were uncatchable.
Yeah.
So I need to message that guy. We'll be back up in his area soon. I need to message him and plan it out better and get them caught. But we've got 2 really good looking little gilts. Surprisingly, we haven't had any luck selling them other than that guy that wanted them. I mean, they're not registered Kuni, but I mean, if wattles weren't a standard and you looked at them,
What
You
else
wouldn't
aren't
be.
a standard with both?
I thought they were now.
Only one of the registries, I'm pretty sure.
But if you weren't looking for wattles and you looked at them, I don't care how much experience you had in Kuni, you wouldn't be able to tell they weren't registered. You would just assume they were.
I don't know about that.
They got short noses. They're about, I don't know, it's hard to judge pigs' weight. They got to be probably in that 80 to 90 pound range.
I was thinking like, wait a minute, how big were leaf? Oh, yeah,
They're
probably.
definitely at least 80 to 90. One of them's a little bigger than the
Oh,
other.
I
It
was
might
gonna
be
guess
100.
way more than that, but I was trying to think about Levi's pigs when we got them.
Yeah, they're probably
Buddy's
one of them
probably
might be
over
pushing
100.
100. The boar's probably over 100 for sure.
And we got rid of all of the piglets we just had. They're a month and a half old. They're all gone. We got some baby bunnies.
Oh, I forgot about those. That's what I was thinking. I was like, were they the last pigs? Yeah, I forgot. We had one.
Before that.
Bailey recently had a litter.
Yeah.
They sell really good when they're about this big. Once they get
We
bigger,
didn't get to sell them last year because
people only want babies. They sell everything as a baby. I wish, I personally would rather not buy babies. I'd rather buy adult animals, whether it's pigs or goats. But people like the cute stage. Trust me, it'll wear off eventually.
Well, they like to adapt them to their personality too.
Well, a sack of cubes will do that. I mean,
For the most part.
Bailey will let you pet her as long as you're feeding her.
We've had Bailey since she was a couple months old. She's not overly friendly. Like if I throw dog food on the ground, she'll let me scratch all over her. She's pretty good with everybody. She's more so good with me because I feed her the most. But
when we were letting Levi's pigs get some pasture time the other day, and we let them out, man, she tore them up.
who?
Bailey tore up Levi's pigs.
Oh. And then Burris and the IP people worked out into a fight. Tore each other up.
It's amazing.
Bad.
These pigs will all intermingle fine. But if you keep some primarily in a pen and then let them out, all of a sudden it's war. And but Levi's pigs got out the other day, and it was like Bailey started it. Was it Bailey the first one? Bailey, and then I think Charlotte was the only one that didn't fight with them, but it was Bailey. Then it was Porky, the wild boar. Then it was who was the third one that fought with them? Oh, our big old gilt that's bred to our IPP. All of them went to a little bout with them, but Levi's pigs are bigger than all of them, so they were kind of like bulldozers and just took each one of them on and then moved on. After they all went through a little fight, then it was back to being pigs, ignoring each other.
We got more litters on the way. Also, we have.
And if anybody's interested in the IPP bred back to Cooney, we were going to have an excellent litter of those. As long as the mama pig does what she's supposed to do and keeps them all alive, I imagine we're going to have a pretty good litter.
Yeah.
She's been swelled up big for a while.
Who's...
She should be getting close within a couple weeks now.
Yeah, about 3 or 4 weeks probably.
So we've got that litter due soon. Then we're going to have some red wattle IPPs. We may sell a couple of them. We got to see how many we had born, but we'll probably sell a couple.
With 2 litters. Queso, and then you said salsa bread yesterday.
Yeah, Queso will be
So
due.
3.5 months, we'll have some more.
We don't know for sure when Queso, our biggest sow, got bred, but she should be due within the next 2 months for sure. And then we'll have another litter due in 3 months or 4 months, about 3 weeks. 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days. So about 4 months out. So within 2 months we'll have a litter, and then within 4 months we'll have a litter of red wattle IPP.
How's that rooster doing? Levi's lavender. I left the door open and he came in the house.
That lavender's a little soft in the head.
He's so friendly. He follows me everywhere.
He's so wimpy. He got beat up by Silkies. I said, Levi bought this lavender rooster. He was going to resell it on Marketplace or.
The one we bought at the auction.
I haven't even seen that one.
I didn't either. I forgot we bought it.
I haven't even seen him. He's
Yeah.
around here somewhere.
I didn't look for him. My mottled that we bought a couple weeks ago got eaten by
Unless-
dingo.
Unless Dingo killed him.
I mean,
I haven't seen that splash that we bought.
Levi, did you put my splash rooster up somewhere?
Yeah, I put them up. The one we just bought.
He's around. We didn't look for him. I forgot about
We've got
him.
probably 100 miscellaneous
Have
chickens
you eaten
around the
any of the
property.
coonies? Yes, we have.
We've eaten,
Oh, yeah, we
we've
have
eaten a
eaten
few.
2 of the full bloods and then a few of the mixes.
Uh,
They make super good roaster.
they
pigs.
make good pigs. Like if you've got a big offset smoker or a really big pellet grill, when they're about 75 pounds to 100 pounds,
Which
they make
is
a really good whole hog roast. And
4 to 8 months old.
I wouldn't. This is the way I would look at coonies. I wouldn't look at them as if I was gonna
Grow
take them to a
out for-
processor and I was gonna get my bacon and I was gonna get my pork chops and my shoulders and my loins. I wouldn't look at it like that.
Which some
You
people
can.
do.
You can, but instead of a pork chop like this big, you're gonna get a pork chop like this, and then about this much fat. You know, like half of your standard size pork chop will be fat.
They're supposed to. They're known as a lard pig,
But-
and we also have much smaller coonies than average.
Well, ours
I've
are
seen
smaller.
some huge.
Ours are
coonies.
smaller because we pasture them like they're supposed to be.
Probably.
I
too.
mean, if you'll look at our coonies, they're fat like a tick, but they're short, compact, low to the ground. If you look at our gilt that we let our IPP breed, she's much longer, much taller. But the key difference with her is we had her in a pen being fed out. Originally, we were going to butcher her.
we did not. She trapped herself.
Well, she just went in there whenever they were small enough that they could go in and out.
She ate so much she couldn't get back out.
Yeah, whenever they were small enough that they could go in and out of the pen, she went in, and we had unlimited feed in there. So she was like, "I'm staying in here." So she just hung out there, and then eventually she grew big enough she couldn't get out of the pen.
and we were gonna butcher her, but
So that's what we decided. We'll just butcher her. But then one thing led to another. We didn't have time. Whatever the case was,
Dakota thought she was cute and didn't want to do it.
she got back out on the pasture, and I was like, you know what? About that same time we got an IPP, and I was like, hey, let's just let her breed. She's pretty big. But so the point being is she was on pig grower, and she grew pretty decent. But the ones that we let grow on pasture, it's not that they're not healthy and they're not fat, and it's just they don't grow. They grow about half the size.
Which they say they're lard pigs, but I don't know. Ours never really.
The ones we
had
butchered
that
have been
much
pastured,
fat.
though. We've never fed them. We've never had them on a feed program. I mean, not saying not fed at all, but we've never put them on a feed program and then butchered them. So the ones that we've butchered, however, they're smaller than if they've been on feed. They've been not that fat, like about as fat as a standard pig. Whenever we just basically grass finished them.
Mhm.
So
Hey, Musgrave.
yeah, I think the diet's a big part of whether or not they're a lard pig. If you put them on tons and tons of corn, they're going to be a lard pig.
Yeah.
Which with Levi's pigs, we're being careful. The feed program we've got Levi's pigs on, they are on a non-GMO feed program, which is peanut meal, sorghum, Milo sorghum, and oats. But we've added about 20 to 30% alfalfa pellet to it because the alfalfa is high in protein, but it's not as high in carbs as the sorghum. So we're trying to give them ample protein to grow as much muscle as possible while not putting too much fat on them. So they're still getting plenty of carbs from the sorghums, Milo, and the oats, but we're just trying to be careful. I think if they were, your run of the mill, your Durox or your Hamps or your Yorkshires and land races and stuff like that, I think that this feed program would be totally fine. You wouldn't get too much lard, but because IPP does have the Cooney background, I'm just trying to be cautious. I don't want Levi's customers to be upset that they get too much fat,
Hey, Troy.
unless somebody wants fat.
A lot of people
Some
want
people
fat.
want it.
Musgrave, we looked for you guys at the auction a few weeks ago.
Have you guys made it to the Prague auction yet? I know you said you were going to go, but I've been kind of looking around and I haven't seen you, but I'm pretty terrible with faces too. So if you see us, just smack us or something.
Greg said, that sounds like a sway feed I feed my cows. So we get it over in Slick, Oklahoma at Fisher's Feed, but
5-way, I think he said 5-way.
5-way feed I feed my cows. Oh, I read that so wrong.
So let us know in the comments there what your 5-way feed is exactly, because I am looking to feed my cow. I've got 3 steers right now, and I am looking to do them on a non-GMO feed, but I want to do it. I don't want to go grain free. I do like some grain fat on my beef. But I do want to go non-GMO. So I'm kind of leaning towards something similar to what we're feeding this pig, but let me know what you're feeding. Exactly.
That, well, I was going to say that peanut meal that Fisher sells was developed by OSU.
The
So,
blend of grains or whatever.
yeah, so they might sell it other places. I don't know if that was just exclusively Fisher's or not. Is that Tommy Ann? Is that who that was?
Yes.
Hey, Tommy Ann. I seen your birthday present video today of you getting to go to the concerts. Oh, they went to Mod.
We haven't been to Mod in a while. They smoke inside that little cell barn area. And
It's hard to breathe, and the kids don't like it. And
I would like to go. They've had some pretty big miscellaneous stuff outside in the parking lot before. I would like to go check that out, but I just can't do the cigarette smoke. I just can't.
we've bought a few of our goats from there.
I think they would be.
June, didn't we get June at Mod?
Yeah, it's been a long time, but yeah.
It's probably been at least 2 years since we've been to Mod.
Irene came.
Oh
from
yeah,
Mod.
Irene. Yeah, she's a dang good goat. We've gotten some.
We're on multiple generations of Irene.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'd like to go back down there, but it'd have to be on
I
a
don't know.
windy night.
Maybe they don't have the cigarette smoking in there like they used to. If they don't, hey, let me know and I'll probably come check it out soon. We got Paul Case in here. Paul, you should. I bet the Spoonbill Snag pretty hot and heavy right now up there at low water. You should go down there and get a short video and post the main attraction to Miami, Oklahoma. Last time I tried to snag there, it was flooded pretty bad, and I couldn't keep from getting hung up.
What's Tommy Ann talking about?
What?
Buster in the hospital?
Oh, well, Tommy. Oh, what just happened? What did I do?
We got an up close view of us now.
Let's see. Well, nobody told me if anything was going on with Grandpa Buster, Tommy.
Dad has surgery. What's he having surgery on? Not a lot of smoke.
Well, to me, a lot of smoke is one person smoking inside a facility. I'm like hypersensitive to cigarette smoke. I can smell a cigarette from about 400 yards away if the wind's not blowing more than 10 miles an hour.
Mom, Stitch lovers Tommy Ann. Oh, his shoulder. Well, I hope his
They
feels a lot better
so
after that.
what's their name at Musgrave again? I wish I just remember everybody's first name. But anyways, they had Jubilee hatching eggs at Parade last
This
Friday.
past Friday.
They had Jubilee hatching eggs, and they had some Jubilee chicks too.
We had some Jubilee Moran hatching eggs, but
Did any of them hatch?
I don't know.
Might have one
maybe
or two
one.
in there.
I don't know. I think I
that'd be a
screwed
really
up.
good cross.
So I think I screwed up 2 ways when I was hatching the last batch. I think I put the eggs. I don't know if it matters. I've read that it did, but I put the egg pointy side down. I think they're actually pointy side up. And I think they're actually supposed to be pointy side down. And then the second thing that I screwed up on was I opened during lockdown because I had to get a tray in there for them to hatch on, and it wasn't ready. So anyway, I think we kind of drowned a bunch of them with the humidity and stuff. So this time we're trying a dry hatch, and we're keeping it around 30 to 40% humidity. And I don't know that we're going to increase during lockdown or not.
I think we'll go up to 60%.
Paragon Ridge Ranch does it. She hatches a lot of chickens, and I don't think she turns hers up.
And whenever I looked at up dry hatching, there's several people who
might-
have pretty high success rates just running at whatever humidity it runs at.
I might try to up the humidity in the room during.
I think we
lockdown.
should get it up to 60%. That's still pretty dry compared to what most people. Like when we go
I don't
towards
know.
lockdown.
I'm gonna see what she says because she hatches a lot. But then again, she's probably got a lot nicer incubator.
Musgrave said points down.
Alan and
Or
Tammy.
Tammy, I'm assuming, said points
My
down.
name is Points down. Yep, I did mine all up. I don't know where I thought I saw that on Facebook.
It's been a few years since we've really hatched anything.
It's been at least 2.5 years.
10
Yeah.
killer. So Paul K said 10 killer. Well, Paul, actually, we think we're going to make it to 10 killer as of right now, tentatively. But we're in a fence building job, a paid job, so I really need to get it done. And man, if this week stays dry, which I doubt it, but if it is dry, it's going to be hard to put it off doing the job. But it's actually kind of up in your area, west of you. But it's out in Juan, Oklahoma. But I do need to get an order of lumber in with you, Paul, because I'd asked you about some lumber, and that's what this job was in regards to. So I need to get you a fresh email on what I need. I may order a little bit more.
Tonight.
I may order a little bit more than what I said in my email just to make sure that, we get this thing built. I'm basically throwing in this, it's called Kentucky 4-panel, but it's just his entryway. Coming off the county road at a 45-degree angle to a 20-foot gate opening, we're putting in what's called Kentucky 4-panel. And we're basically just throwing it in there because he went with us. He spent good money with us, which the job is slightly larger and more comprehensive than I had figured when we walked it. But we're not doing bad on time. We spent 3 days up there, and we're pretty close to where I thought we would be. But that's only because it actually went. Somehow I looked at the job like it wasn't quite as complex.
2 little hiccups.
Well, if I hadn't thrown the track off the skid steer, I think we would have had a whole nother section.
And I wouldn't have got stuck.
And Shayla hadn't got the truck and trailer buried up in the mud.
Yeah. Then we would have been on time. Then we only have
And
one more day. That's
subsequently-
only 4 days.
Subsequently, after Shayla got the truck and trailer buried in the mud, then I was trying to push the trailer out because we couldn't pull it out the other way.
No, you could have. You just didn't.
No.
That
There
was
was-
dumb.
But anyways, then the skid steer got stuck.
It was a mess. Long days, barely any sleep. They don't mix very well. Well, we could, even if we did a job though, we could swing in for a couple hours in the evening, possibly. It'd still be kind of a drive, but we'll see. But if we do go to 10 Killer though, are we supposed to bring food? Are they doing like a chili cook-off
Yeah,
again
potluck.
or
We're just doing
potluck?
potluck as far as I know.
Okay. He never tells me anything, and I have way too much to do to get in these lives. I didn't have time to do our own live.
Cracked corn, whole feed wheat, whole oats, wheat, middlings, and soybean hulls. Yeah, what's her name with Duncan?
Greg, I don't know his wife's name.
Yeah, Greg. So, what I'm trying to avoid when I grain feed my cows is GMO grains because those soybeans, believe it or not,
And the wheat
and the corn,
and the corn.
corn,
All of
wheat
it.
actually especially. But pretty much all those, the wheat, the corn, the soy, when they spray these GMO crops with Roundup, believe it or not, that glyphosate makes it all the way through the plant. It goes as far as to go through the plant, through the rumen of a cow, and then when the cow poops it out, it's actually manure contains glyphosate. So I've always kind of known this, but with all the lawsuits against Roundup for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and leukemia and like whatever else that these, cancers and stuff that it is said to be causing, I just, if I'm going to grow my own beef, I just want to avoid those things. I mean, I can go get those things from the store. I can get beef fed soybeans from the store every day. It's, the last beef we fed a product that had soy in it. Tastes good. And sure, it's better for us than a lot of what you get from the from the feedlots. But ultimately, when I have control of the animals, I want to start moving away from that.
As much as possible. It's
But
not
nothing's perfect. But
even the
even the peanut mill probably is using
well, what Rachel said,
some
the
kind of process to
chemical.
extract the protein that's not ideal. But yeah.
They're just poisoning us in every way, shape, form they can.
I mean, soybeans, they ain't sure grow a pig or a cow fast, but it's just one of those things, I want to eliminate those things from my animals' diet if I'm going to consume them, so that whenever I consume them, I know it's just that much more healthy.
I just finished the Whole30 diet, which is where you eliminate all the major allergens, and then you have to incorporate it back in a time manner, and like the wheat, anything with wheat in it.
Oh, but yeah, wheat.
Gluten messed me up so bad, so that's another reason we don't want to feed.
So wheats anymore, not only are they GMOing them so that they can be sprayed with different herbicides, they will actually, and it's not so much in our region. We grow hard winter wheat in Oklahoma, typically. The soft wheat varieties that are grown up north, they are more often done this way. But when it comes time to harvest, if the crop is still green and not drying off fast enough, they will actually go with Roundup and spray the rest of spray the crop so that it dies and hardens off, and they can get it cut sooner, so they get the moisture content down. That I feel like that's why breads at the store because breads are made with soft winter wheat
Well,
and pastas are made with hard winter wheat.
that and the GMO
But
gluten.
but if you go to why if you start looking at why people have gluten intolerances, I really have to start wondering if it's not a herbicide intolerance more so than it is even a gluten problem. But if you're just saying, well, I've noticed that wheat makes me upset, makes my stomach upset, makes my body inflamed, then I start going, well, it could be or it couldn't be gluten.
I don't know. I did not have a headache the whole entire. I did it for. Supposed to do it for 30 days. I did it really technically for 45 because I had corn one day that I didn't know was technically a grain. And the entire 45 days I did, I don't think I had one headache. I didn't have. If I did have a headache, it wasn't bad enough to take anything for it.
I know
ever
this.
since I started back eating bread again, I've had a headache every single day.
I know
And
this.
peanuts.
Every time I've ever applied 2,4-D, like I've used it in the pasture to spray horse nettle. I've used a combination of glyphosate and 2,4-D to spray horse nettle, just spot spraying, because I hate that stuff. I won't ever do it again, but I have in the past. Messing with either 2,4-D or Roundup or both of them, I get a migraine just from smelling it and being around it, let alone if it gets on my skin, which usually it does somehow by the time you're spraying it for a couple
And
hours.
Roundup is said to be cause infertility, which don't matter for us anymore. But for anyone watching, if you've ever used Roundup and you have issues, could be a linkage there.
But there's a lot to say about chemical Roundup and 2,4-D. I know a lot of people look at it like, well, we've been spraying it on our farm for 40 years and you're not going to tell me any different. But you can't hide from the facts. It's not good. What's it? Soil Work. I think it's called Soil Works LLC. I could be wrong, but that guy's like basically a soil consultant, and he's been consulting since the 90s or something like that. And he had a farmer that grew row crops that had been applying manure for decades and had always shown improvement on a crop's yield or soil health by applying manure. But after the GMO crops started rolling out, his crop yields and stuff started going down when he would apply manure. So this consultant asked him, "Do you think glyphosate could be in that manure?" And he goes, "No way, kid. No way can I spray this crop, harvest it weeks later, feed it to my cattle, and then my cattle's manure contain that glyphosate. By the time it goes through that animal, there's no way," he said. Well, he went and ran that test, and glyphosate was present in enough numbers in that manure to have a negative growth effect on the field that it was applied to. So it's just hard to argue with that. But anyhow.
Step by step.
What we would like to do is eventually we would like to what was that person at the Okie Homestead Expo talking about that I just mentioned it to you the other day, growing all your food on all your animals feed and stuff on the homestead, feed your homestead from the homestead or whatever. I think that was kind of the motto they were going with. But we would like to do that. It's going to require more land. It's going to definitely. I mean, even if we tried to feed our homestead right now from the homestead, I don't think we have enough land. Even if we reduced like our goats down to 15% of the herd and the cows in a third.
We need to get at least 4 hay, and then we need at least 4 growing up like sorghum or What's that other wheat you always talk about? Or
Milo and what are you talking about?
rye? Is rye non-GMO or is it sorghum?
I mean, I'd love to grow corn and Milo. I'd love to grow soybeans. Soybeans are great feed. I mean, you can grow other stuff. You can grow cowpeas, stuff like that. There's other beans and legumes you can grow. I would love to grow legumes and sorghum mainly, but there's corn varieties out there they're hybridized, which all corn's hybridized. To get corn to where we are now, it's all hybrid. It's not genetically modified, but it's hybridized. It's been selectively bred and grown. There's a difference between selectively growing and crossing plant species naturally versus going in it with CRISPR and editing genes. There's a big difference there. But
That's gonna get us flagged.
so my plants. If I get a strike for that, I quit YouTube. But there's a big difference between hybridization and GMO. And there's corn varieties out there like the GMO corn that you see in feed and you see that they're making ethanol out of is like 7-8% protein. But there are non-GMO corns out there that are 12% protein. Think about that. What they're growing, you can get big yields because you can spray it with all this chemical.
Huck.
Well, I'm 1/3 more, like I could take a third less crop yield right off the bat because the corn that's not GMO is more nutritious. So just right off the bat, I don't need these chemicals because I can grow it 2/3 less crop and get just as much nutrition. And for every pound you feed them, it's worth more. So there's a lot of ways to go about this besides GMOing, and it's just a big lie it's just a big lie that we've been taught to believe that we couldn't feed the world without genetic modification, and it's been taught to us by the people selling the product.
Oh my gosh. There's just a few people.
There's
a handful of people around here that sell eggs and they can't even sell them fast enough.
Well, I just did a short video on lamb's quarter. I've got a little corral out here.
Extra. That's what I meant. No.
I have a little corral out here that is full of lamb's quarter. If I went out and picked it all right now, there's probably 5-6 pounds of lamb's quarter. It is more nutrient dense than spinach, kale, all these things that are told to you that is good for you and you need to be eating it. I can go out here and I can pick 5-6 pounds of lamb's quarter right now.
Dandelions.
Just poke salad right across the road. Poke salad is toxic to a certain extent, but it's not.
Garlic.
It's not bad for you like you're.
There's wild garlic everywhere.
Garlic and onions.
Yeah.
There's so many edible things, and I'm a complete novice to foraging, but
yeah.
I can tell you right now, the world is edible. There's so much around us that you just don't even think about. So the thought that, without feed corn, we would starve to death. First of all, I'm a big time ruminant animal man. You could take 2/3 of the row crops out of production right now and just breed more cattle, more cows. If we would double our cattle population right now, who cares if it takes 6 more months to produce a grass-fed cow? Who cares? Because you got double the cattle herd. Ruminants are the answer. Ruminants, for the liberal-minded person, are the solution to their so-called climate change. The animals that they hate are actually the solution. Cows, goats, and sheep solve all of our could solve all of our climate problems, so to speak. We don't need to be growing corn for gasoline, for ethanol. tears up all my small engines. All my carburetors are always ruined, and all the little rubber components are always bad in them because of ethanol.
10 o'clock.
Well,
We don't have a lot of activities. So.
surprisingly, we got 8 people in here after my little roundup rant.
I don't know.
Most people don't want to hear that kind of stuff.
Well, are you gonna keep talking? I'm gonna go take care of Huxton. He's got a little something going on his face. I don't know what it is. Look like mites, but I've already treated him.
I think he got bit by chiggers.
Something. I've been
I
trying all kinds
was
of different.
I was eaten up by bugs when we were doing that fence. Huxton got bit on the face, I guess, and then he got
He's got
secondary infection
That's what I'm
from that.
thinking.
Looks better though now.
It's drying up. I gotta wash his face again. Put
Looks
some
better
more
than it
cream
did
on
yesterday or this morning even. But man, those bugs tore my belly up.
Okay.
I thought they were seed ticks, but I couldn't find any ticks on me. But anyways,
They're doing good, Tommy. They're growing. Not as fast as you, but they're growing. They're stunting out a little bit. Hopefully we'll get to see you guys soon.
they're not growing quite as tall lately. I might need to deworm them or something.
We did deworm Huxton.
Huxton's been dewormed recently.
Yeah.
Riley might need some deworm. He's pretty scrawny.
He's not feeling good today, so. Only you're 5'11". I was right. I told some of the moms on the baseball team you were probably like 6 foot. 5'11".
Only 5'11". That's as tall as me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. She's only 13. Or did you just turn 12? Wait, you just turned 12. Because you're not that much older than Levi, right? 6'1". Oh my god, yeah, she's only 12. She's got like 7 or about 5 more years of growing. You're going to be like 6'4".
Better start playing basketball.
Basketball or volleyball?
I was
Golly.
never any good at basketball. I was pretty terrible.
Well, all she's got to do is
I
be
think
the rebound and stand there with the ball.
I think basketball would have been fun if I'd been any good, but I ain't been no good at basketball.
You should definitely play basketball. My brother was way taller, but not that tall, and he was great at the rebound position. She said she plays basketball in the backyard. Played at school. Or you should be going to middle school this fall, right? You can start middle school basketball.
Well, I'm going to get off here. I'm ready for bed.
Oh, what? You're homeschooled now.
Well, I think you can still play sports. Trump was going to make it to where if you're homeschooled, you could still play sports.
You could still play through the church.
I don't know how that went.
Maybe one more year.
Probably take 4 years to figure out.
All right. Well, we'll catch up with you later, and we'll see everybody else. Thank you guys for joining. We appreciate it, and stay tuned. We will get a video out soon. We were working, and then the next 4 days after that was extremely windy.
Should be a video with some of our work in it.
I guess I could do that video.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I was just wanting to do one around the farm, but it's been nonstop windy. So.
All right.
So
Good night.
anyway, yep. We'll see you guys.